Welcome back to another episode of Let Me Reach. I'm your host, Philip Sumter, only one P-Duck. Today, I want to talk about Kyren Lacy. Now, I understand everybody's talking about this, but I don't think everybody's putting it into perspective that it should be placed in. The reason I want to shed more light on this, or at least share my perspective on this, is because I feel like there's a lot of people that's applicable to this situation that, well, their name isn't Kyren Lacy, so their stories aren't heard. But there's a lot of people that this situation applies to, and I think it's unfortunate that the system continues to do this. Accountability is needed, so conversations need to be had. Now, who is Kyren Lacy? How does this apply? Why do I find this important? What, why, who, when, what? We'll go over that right after this intro.
Only one. Yeah.
All right, Yetics. So briefly, for the people who don't know, who is Kyren Lacy? What happened? What's the situation? What's this whole ordeal?
In 2024, there was a fatal crash in Louisiana. A 78-year-old man, Herman Hall, died in the crash. Louisiana State Police alleged that Kyren Lacy, a former LSU wide receiver, was driving a green Dodge Charger, illegally past several vehicles in a no-passing zone, and that his reckless maneuver triggered a chain of events. Drivers swerved to avoid his car, which led to a head-on collision involving other vehicles. While Lacy's car never physically collided with any other car in the crash, investigators say his behavior forced others into evasive action, which ultimately caused the deadly accident.
So the reason I'm talking about this is because I feel like there's a lot of situations to where, I don't know, the police officer will, want to get somebody else off, so they'll put somebody else in trouble. I don't know. I like you, so I'm going to pin it on you because I don't like you, or I don't care about you. But I like you, so you're fine, but you. You know what I mean? Which brings me to my next major point and my problem with police officers. And I agree, and I know for a fact that there are a lot of good police officers in our system. I wholeheartedly agree. But my problem with these good police officers is, the bad police officers. Every organization, every team that I've ever been a part of, I knew the players who were not so good on that team. I knew the players who were not so good in that organization. So that's my problem with the police. Yes, I do believe that there are good cops, but I don't think that good cops should let there be bad cops. Bro, there's way too much on the line. So I look a little side-eye-ish at every cop because bullshit continues to happen and the good cops continue to say, oh, but there are some of us that's good and most of us are good. Well, you probably know the bad ones. So why do things have to happen first before you be like, oh, well, I'm not surprised. Johnny was a asshole to begin with. He should have never been in that position. Because 10 cops knew that that one cop was the bad apple. So why does that one bad cop have to do something horribly wrong before something happens? I don't understand it. Now, besides the fact that they framed this young black man and make it look like he did something that he didn't do, the major thing at play here is this young man thought that his life was over because, well, football probably was not going to be a thing anymore. And the culture doesn't help. The culture, the system, it's all one big party. It's all the BS party. The culture tells us that we're only entertainers. And as soon as they take away something that we feel that we're good at, great at, only thing that we ever really tried, well, we feel like we are nothing. And that's what this young man felt. This young man felt like, well, fuck, you're going to take away the only thing that I've been doing all my life, the only thing that I'm good at. Just imagine that pressure. I mean, you've been dreaming of this your whole life. Now it's obvious that you won't even touch that. And on top of that, you didn't even do it. But you feel this pressure of state police telling you that you did something, forcing it upon you that you did something that you didn't do. Bro, that's a hell of a feeling. Yetics, is anybody held liable in this situation? Because this is obviously defamation, right?
Right now, no one has been publicly held liable for Kyren Lacy's death or for the potential mishandling of the case. But there are several directions where liability could eventually be examined. 1. Law enforcement, Louisiana State Police. 2. Media outlets. 3. Systemic accountability. The DA and the Louisiana State Police leadership could face scrutiny if evidence emerges that the arrest or media narrative was rushed, politically motivated, or based on incomplete facts. However, internal reviews often lead to policy recommendations rather than direct punishment.
So nothing. Got it. I think we all know that America has this in crowd, and it will go to major lengths to protect those people that it wants to protect. The Epstein files, or anything for that matter. It could just be as small as, you didn't hit and run. I'm just pin it on this young fella over here. You're good to go. It could just be as simple as that. Or it could just be running the world. The system is stupid. And it's an obviously dumb system, and it plays on lack of critically thinking people. And if you can't see the amount of just BS everywhere, divisiveness tools everywhere, you got to take your blinders off, bro. Now, this story was big to me because, again, we grew up in communities to where we feel like we can only do certain things. And when certain things is taken away from us, we feel an immense amount of pressure, and we don't think that we can come to, other talents. And this is something that every athlete is going to have to face, and something that I'll talk about in the future. Life after sports. You are not your sport. I understand that we identify with whatever sport that we've grown accustomed to and played our whole lives, but that's not who we are. It's just what we do. It's what we enjoy. As a young black man, we have to make sure that we are understanding and we are aware that this isn't my life, and I'm so much more than this ball. I know that they like to paint this as the only way out, but it's not. It's not. And essentially what I'm saying here is, I feel like if Kyren knew more about himself, took time to actually get to know himself, knew more hobbies, knew more interests, and just knew more things about himself, he wouldn't have felt this pressure when football was taken away from him. And he wouldn't have eventually unalived himself. So that's my message to the young black man out here. Really, truly get to know yourself, because you're not just one thing. And to Kyren Lacy and family, rest in peace, and I send my condolences. To the Louisiana State Police Department, I hope you get what you deserve, whether it's here on Earth or in afterlife. But I do think the things that happen, the things that we do here on Earth, I think it matters. So, that being said, like, share, subscribe, and I shall see you next Friday.
All in one.